This is part 3 of building the skull out of spheres. Um, this time I put on the screen references of skull from different angles, and you could go on the internet and find all kinds of skull references. This one seemed to be quickest and easiest to find, where there's several different angles to view, and the skull looks decent enough. Um, all I did was pull up the image on the screen, and I've got two windows basically, one for my sculpting app and the other just to look at the images. There's other ways to do this, but this is the way we're doing it right now. So it's a decent place to start using the references to make sure things are placed properly. One of the first things I noticed um, was that the mastoid process right here could probably Control D, deselect, and then I select the object. I could probably move that up closer. Um, and I could probably change the scale of that. So scale, global, XYZ. And we could look at this back view right here. Probably see to bring that in just a little bit. This is probably a better location for it. Right here, we've got a nice profile if you look at the skull of this. And what we could do is just copy Control C and then V. Well, I didn't want two of those, so we'll delete that. Control C and V. There's one. Grab global. And that just kind of like fills in that gap a little bit. Is it very important? Not really. It's just helping us to make this look a little more seamless, I guess you could say. So what else could we do that's pretty simple at the moment? We've got cavities here. I'm avoiding that. I'm just sculpting the positive things with spheres. What we'll do at later stages, we'll address that at later stages. Right now, I just want you to learn how to build with a limited amount of tool usage. I thought maybe we would do the teeth. That's something that we could attempt to do. Let's start out Control D, deselect, and then select that for start because it's easy. The scale of the spheres is close to what we're going to work with. So Control C and then Control V, and then we go to scale, global, and XYZ. Scale it down a little bit. We'll start out with the two front teeth. So what we'll do is scale global only, and then we stretch those out a little bit. How far do we want to go up? Well, I guess not too far. Doesn't really matter because the form of the tooth, you can see the root goes underneath the skull right there. It continues up pretty close to the nasal cavity. So you're creating that form. We're not going to worry about the gum line as much. We could address that later. But you can do that. It's your call. I think I'm going to press enter to lock that form. I'm going to keep on the scale. Let's see. Let's bring this out. Grab. Pull these out. Let's go back to scale global. Move the mouse so we can flatten those out a little bit. We could also rotate those teeth a little bit away from each other so there's a bit of a curvature there. Let's move it back into place and see what we have. So we should probably go back to rotate global and tilt them forward a little bit. Let's see, angle that back a little bit. Grab tool, move them a little bit closer. Probably make them a little longer. So we go back to scale, global, and move the tool up a little bit. So that's a start. So I would say Control C, then Control V, and we'll get the exact same thing, even though those teeth, we'll press enter to then select those. I'm going to press enter again so we're locked on those. So we could scale those down. So scale, global, and XYZ. Because you can see in this reference here that the next teeth are a little smaller. So I'm going to go to grab, move those closer in place. And then we're going to copy those, Control C, then V, press enter to deselect, then enter once I have it. Grab those, put the global on. Probably rotate that away a little bit from the center. So rotate global. And maybe those are a little bit bigger or taller. They're the canine teeth, so we go to scale, global. Or what they're called on people is the eye tooth, the eye teeth. I don't know exactly why that is. I always assumed it was because they line up with the center of the eye. Is that true? I don't know. But like I say, I always say these things as a means to remember certain things. So having that in mind, is the center of the eye here? I don't know. If that is, then I need to move these teeth over a little bit. So maybe collectively I can press enter to unlock, go to shift, just hold down shift and then click on all the teeth, and then I'm going to scale that up a little bit, maybe so that they come out a little bit wider. I think I'm going to go to Control D, deselect, go to that tooth. Maybe rotate that back a little bit. I don't think that's really doing what I want it to do. But again, we're just limiting ourselves with just a few of the tools. We'll finesse it later. I want to go to the profile and bring it back, because if you look at the profile of the teeth, you can see that the front teeth are furthest most, and then it gradually goes back. So we want to make sure that these are not all in the same plane. Bring that out a little bit more. I don't like how that's angled out, so I was trying something that didn't work. So a lot of this is finesse, as you can see. So we have those front teeth. Let's just copy what we have and bring them down to the bottom. So shift and then Control C and then V. Okay, it didn't work. Control Z undoes. All right, so let's do this again. Control C, V. I don't think it's going to work again. I don't know what's going on there. Alright. But it doesn't look bad. Delete that. Maybe I just do Control. I think I understand what's going on. Let's click on to these two and see what we get. Control C, then V. Shift. We're going to rotate those like this. Probably scale them down with global and XYZ scale. Bring them over a little bit. Seems like we could scale those down a little bit more. Let's put them into place a little bit more by let's just want to rotate that one. Rotate that one as well. So maybe we could reproduce that one. Control C, then V. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. So Control V, do that. Move these up into place. Let's rotate. All right, that's a start. End of part 3.